live coverage of Expo North as it happens.
This is XpoNorth Live.
Joining us now at Expo North Live are contemporary quilt maker Netty Sopata and Helen Voce, who is a mentor and freelance coordinator. Now, first things first, you've been at an event, Making Place Placemaking. What's that about?
It was an event we did yesterday at the just pre-Expo North. We brought together 4 makers who are a subset of 9 makers from the Highlands and Islands who are going to be exhibiting at a Scottish showcase at London Design Festival in 2016. Netty was one of our speakers along with 3 others, and we were very much looking at the importance of place and making to the stories that they tell about the work that they do, their practice, and how that might translate in terms of entering new markets and linking with new clients through the platform that London Design Festival is going to offer.
Now, break this down a little. Is that making a virtue out of the fact that the craftspeople in fashion design, textile, jewellery making a virtue out of their location, or are we using it as part of the brand?
I think it was very much looking at the stories of the 9 individuals.
Right.
One of the tasks that we set the individual makers when we were working with them to put the event together was we set them a series of questions that explored the theme of making and place. And so we very much got 9 individual stories. Sorry, what I was supposed to say there is we asked them to kind of answer the questions in response through film and audio and image. Mm-hmm. So we actually edited together 9 short films for each of the makers. So it was very much under the control of the individual maker as to how much of the story they wanted to tell about place and where they make. And during the event, we very much kind of explored that idea of when you can kind of play that to your strength and when you actually might want to choose to kind of play that down, depending on who it is that you're talking to and for what reason.
So you'd be talking it up perhaps to a foreign market?
Exactly, yeah, very much. We had, all 4 makers were very much selling internationally. Mm-hmm. I think 2 or 3 have very strong international markets already, and one of our makers is very much a recent graduate, so is kind of exploring international markets.
Now, let's turn to the contemporary quilt maker, Netty. First of all, is it a trade? It's a tradition? Do you have to learn under somebody who's expert in quilt making, or who's going to prepare to train you in it?
Yes, yeah. I served an apprenticeship in Stornoway at Quilt Makers, which is what led me to live up in Lewis in the first place. So I learned how to make traditional quilts with tartan, mm-hmm. and then after starting a family, I set up on my own. And because of the strength of the industry of Harris tweed and locally woven cloth up on Lewis, I experimented and I started to make quilts using Harris tweed. Mm-hmm. And then another dimension to the work is that I do my own leather work. So the buckles and the straps for the quilts can coordinate with the colour of the tweeds. So that gives it a contemporary twist. And then I use the traditional skills basically to create different shapes and silhouettes that clients like. So I'm very much a bespoke quilt maker and one-to-one pieces.
And how does working from the Isle of Lewis, how does that affect what you do, your trade and your trading opportunities?
I think it gives it a lot of strength. I think because of the internet and because of the thoroughfare of tourists that come to the island, the market is there. It's just tapping into it. And that's what we were exploring with the movies that we made, was you highlight that strength rather than seeing it as a negative. And the fact that you're a long distance away from everything, that's your magnetism in many ways, is your isolation in some respects.
I mean, tell me more about the business of learning quilt making. How long does it take?
It takes a long time. I spent a very long time, about a year probably, just learning how to press them properly. The quilt shop that I learnt in did hire quilts as well. So a lot of the work was altering the sizes for the higher quilts, and that's one of the first jobs I was given. So learning to move the buckles, learning to move the straps, learning to baste and press them, and learning how to sew with a thimble as well, which is something when you first put it on your finger, it's a bit, there's an alien on my finger, how do I use this? It's all blah. But then once you've learnt that technique, I can't sew by hand now without a thimble because it doesn't work. So I have to have that thimble in place, and then it's quick and it works.
I shall never take a kilt for granted again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helen, how closely do you work in mentoring on these sort of things?
Well, so Netty, along with the other 8 makers from the Highlands, are being supported by Emergence, who are based in the Highlands and Islands and support craft, fashion and textile businesses. They nurture them through their kind of creative and business development. So I've worked with Emergence for a couple of years now in a freelance capacity. I work alongside my colleague Carol Sinclair and some other wonderful, kind of mentors and business trainers. So I've not directly mentored anyone in the Highlands yet. We've done kind of workshops and training, but I work nationally as a mentor through a programme run by the Crafts Council, which is the British Crafts Council, and also locally in Glasgow. So it's very much about building a relationship with that individual to kind of build trust and to very much understand what it is they need the support with at that particular time in their business, and kind of being really responsive to that so that they're getting the most out of you and you're helping them kind of progress where they need to go. So the dynamic in the relationship is very much dependent on the 2 individuals, and I very much take an approach where it can be maybe more of a kind of equitable relationship, so it's not like a top-down mentor-mentee, it's very much a kind of setting the parameters together about what we want to do and what they want to achieve.
Now, Netty, Zero Waste Scotland has given Diggory Brown, your company, a special award for environmental. It's environmental. Briefly, do you think this is something that more businesses should be aware of, the environmental concerns of what they're doing?
I think so, and I think it's coming to the forefront now in design, especially in zero waste. As a designer maker and a sole trader, which I am, and I think many sole traders working in that realm, designer making, you're very much aware of the waste that you create anyway, I think, because it's such a small environment. I've lost my train of thought.
No, but
sorry,
I think it's interesting that perhaps you don't necessarily think that something like craft has much waste to it.
No, but I think that's if it's produced by a small scale, then no, I don't think there is. But I think there's scope for thinking through products at the design stage, which was very much what the apparel fund was about for textile designers, was to look at the products you're going to create at the design stage, to think through the lifespan of that product, and then ultimately all it becomes afterwards. It's that tail end of the waste. There's the percentages and the figures of the waste involved in the fashion industry and industry as a whole are extreme. I mean, they really are. You look at it and you go, that's a huge amount of waste that's gone in there. And it's not about attacking consumerism. It's about looking at it from the design perspective at the forefront and how you can encircle it all, if that makes sense.
Well, environmentally friendly and handcrafted. I think we can all get behind crafts like that. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.